Shoulder dislocations and shoulder subluxations are very common among military service members. And in this population, long-term shoulder instability often results, leading to surgery and the potential for long-term problems in the shoulder. I'm Dr. David Geier, triple board certified orthopedic surgeon, sports medicine specialist, and anti-aging and regenerative medicine expert. I help veterans by writing Nexus letters that argue that your orthopedic injuries are connected to your military training and service so you can get the compensation you deserve. Now, the incidence of shoulder instability is significantly more common in the military than in the civilian population. Typically, these are injuries of athletes, football, basketball, things like that, with traumatic events. Well, I argue that the military is essentially a huge population entirely of athletes. And so it's no surprise with all the duties and the physical demands of military service that shoulder dislocations and shoulder subluxations are so common. Now, members of the military are also at very high risk for recurrence, meaning you have one dislocation and it starts to happen over and over again. Some of that is the nature of shoulder dislocations and shoulder instability. Some of that is how demanding what you're asked to do is. It's not like it's really easy to then be light duty like you can maybe in a job where you get a note from a doctor and they make you light duty for a period of time. That's not really a feasible option for most service members. And when it becomes a recurrent problem, you start having dislocations over and over again or repeated subluxations and this chronic pain. Typically, the treatment is surgery, especially in high demand young individuals, such as military duties. And that surgery typically provides a much more predictable return to the military, even if that's 6 or 9 months later. Again, shoulder dislocations, much more common in active U.S. military personnel than the general population. That's been shown in numerous studies, and I include those studies in my Nexus letters to make this point. Studies have shown the recurrence rate in a very active population like the military, it's over 50%. And I would say, in my experience, it's actually higher than that. The thing is, why that matters is even with the surgical treatment, but especially if you don't have the surgical treatment, recurrent shoulder instability, meaning repeated dislocations, repeated subluxations, have definitely been linked to the development of osteoarthritis of the shoulder. That process begins much earlier, maybe even after the initial dislocation, than typically what happens with osteoarthritis, say, of the knee or the hip, which is more over a long period of time. But the more dislocations or subluxations you have, the age you were, especially the younger at the time of the first dislocation, the age at the time of surgery, and limited range of motion, all those play a role in the development of future osteoarthritis. So even though surgical stabilization is often recommended for somebody that's in the military who suffers a shoulder dislocation, they can still develop osteoarthritis down the road. And that's where, if that happens, it can be a very, I would argue, straightforward topic and injury to link to the military service in terms of service connection for a claim. And again, with listing those studies and pointing out that relationship, it's usually pretty straightforward. Now, if you have ideas for topics for other videos for this channel, whether it's injuries like shoulder dislocations, risk factors for injuries, Nexus letters and DBQs and the specifics of those, or really anything else, leave those in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe to this channel, click the bell to be notified when I release a new video. If you're interested in a Nexus letter for your injury or condition, shoulder dislocation or otherwise, click the link in the description below and you'll learn more about working with me and my team. We do everything we can to make the process easy and make it quick. And I really try hard to write a Nexus letter that gives you the best chance of success in your claim. Thanks for watching. I look forward to working with you much more.